That would be my number one tip. Anyone is looking for an immediate or urgent replacement means they need an immediate and urgent submission. Welcome back to the podcast, Beyond the Curtain, where we talk all things about the performing arts industry on and off the stage. I am your host, Martina, and today we are talking all about auditioning for the cruise ship industry. Today is all about going through the audition process in person and over video, and my experience that I had in getting booked with one of the most major cruise lines. Now, before I start, I want to say two things. I can only speak about the experience that I have been through and that I have heard others go through for a specific cruise line. I don't know what each of them consists of, but I do feel as though they are kind of tailored the same way. We'll not only be talking about the live audition process, but also the virtual audition process. Now, I can't also sit here and quite frankly say that I know every little thing that happened inside of that audition room, because my audition story is quite different than a lot of people's, and I was never inside that live audition room. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But for now, I can tell you that for the live audition process, the first step is scouting out where these auditions will be located. And whether or not you are working with an agent, you can find this information by going directly to their website. Now, I would do that for every major cruise line because sometimes auditions could overlap or they could be very, very close in location, especially since all of the American cruise lines are mostly based in Florida. But if you are not near a Florida open call, they do many others in more of the major cities. So New York, London, Australia, Chicago. But nevertheless, check those websites, write down the dates, compare when auditions are so that maybe you can knock two out. Now, like I said before, my audition experience is very different from the typical walk into a room and sing your songs. But I obviously am very well connected and have many amazing performer friends out there who have shared their experience with me, specifically for the cruise line that I worked for. And for vocalists, that consisted of coming in with two separate 16-bar pop rock cuts.
Okay.
But also being provided beforehand a cut of a song from a show.
Okay.
So it really all just depends on their process, the casting director, what they want to see then and there, and just be prepared with anything they throw at you. I would come in solid with a whole book of pop rock selections, as well as some musical theater. Pick your best two, and then if they want to see something else, you'll be ready to go. But it is super important to really focus in on bringing selections of pop rock or of that nature, unless it specifies to bring in something musical theater-wise, because more than half the shows on ships are based off of the pop rock stylization. And of course, you may have some Broadway cabarets in there, but you will always have a pop rock show, no matter what ship you go to, and no matter what genre or time era it comes from. They're still all classified as pop rock. But we will go into that in another video. After you sing, you're going to have to do a movement call. And I feel as though cruise lines and this industry is fairly fair about making sure that the movement call for singers is a strong movement type situation. Unless it's very specific in the description that the singers need to be triple threats and need to do doubles, then just expect the movement call to be more of moving to the beat of music, maybe doing a step touch, depending on the cruise line, of course. Because I know some cruise lines are very much park and bark for the vocalist, and others are very heavily involved in the fact that you need to be a triple threat. So make sure you're doing your research on what cruise line you are auditioning for. Now, to chat a little bit about my audition, I feel like I can speak a little bit more pinpointed on what that process was like for me. So it was 2017. I was in the awkward, weird period where I was in school, wasn't taking classes, but I was just waiting to graduate. And I saw a posting on Playbill for an immediate replacement on a cruise ship. And I knew that me joining rehearsals or the ship would conflict with me being able to go to my graduation. But I told myself, I'm just going to apply. You never know, they might see you and want you for something else. Or I can try to negotiate me just coming home from that day and going back. Or they would just say no and I would just move on. Well, I submitted this emergency replacement video as soon as possible. As soon as I saw it, I ran to the rehearsal studios that our school provided and I filmed this audition tape, mostly because I knew all the songs already, because they were all pop rock selections that we just heard on the radio. I then also sent in one original song in that package. So my own song, I think it was one or two songs that they provided me, and I sent that back right away. And I think an audition tip for me would be, okay, so you see this posting that says immediate, urgent, seeking immediate replacement. Well, that means time is of the essence and they need an immediate submission. And I knew that doing cruises was something that I was super interested in doing. I didn't think I would actually be worthy or deserving of getting there because I was very hard on myself back then. But I said, whatever, give it a go, submit it. And that's what I did. And that's what you should do if you're really, really looking to get your way in. That would be my number one tip. Anyone is looking for an immediate or urgent replacement means they need an immediate and urgent submission. And the earlier you submit, the earlier you will get seen. And if you are what they want, they don't have the time to be looking for other people. So make sure you take advantage of that if you ever do see that. Not just for cruise ships, but for anything. Back to the story. I sent that package in. I got a response the next day saying, thank you so much. Please sing Halo by Beyonce and please do this combination. I did it the same day, sent it back. I got an email back kind of suggesting what are your dates? What is this and that? And I told them and I said, hey, I'm just graduating from college. Is there any way I can fly back for my graduation, this or that? And the amazing casting director that was there said, oh, well, maybe not this time, but we'll keep you on file. And at that point, I was a little bit bummed because I was super excited. My adrenaline was going. However, I do now know, being more mature, that everything did happen for a reason. But at that moment, I thought, oh, right, they're just gonna keep me in file. You know what that means. I'm just gonna get tossed away. Well, it wasn't until probably a week or two later where I got a full-blown offer for my first contract ever. And that is a moment where I learned that everything does happen for a reason, in perfect timing. And when casting directors do say that they will keep you on file, they absolutely will keep you on file. You just don't get to control when they want to bring you back out, which is the hard part for many of us. So yes, I would say that my biggest tip for auditioning virtually is to send your stuff in. There are some cruise lines where you have to have a profile where videos are uploaded. There are some cruise lines where you have to go live and audition. And another option is to just submit materials that they have generically on their website. You just submit the packet that they have there, send it to them, and they will review it. They may get back to you if they need you, they may not. But they will always have it on record, which is a good thing. I think you showing that you are quick to submit something shows that you are reliable, that you are driven, that you work hard, and that you want this opportunity for yourself. So with that being said, whether you are auditioning in person or you are auditioning virtually, make sure to get your submissions in as soon as possible to get you to be the front runner of all of the other applicants that are coming in. Make sure to check out my next video regarding pop rock selections for your auditions. I will see you next week at 3 p.m. for that subject. And with that being said, goodbye.